go. Alright, so we're going to cancel this here. So today what we're going to do is create a couple of backgrounds, and we're going to use the backgrounds in our next project. That project is this the places we'll go project. And I just want you to have fun with this. It's just supposed to be just a real basic review. You can't see anything, can you? Now can you see something? A little bit? Alright. That's pretty funny. They'll get a kick out of that in 7th hour. So this the places we'll go project, what that is basically is you're going to find 5 pictures about things like a place you've been, a place you want to go, a person you've met, a person you want to meet, and we're going to do one GIMP sort of effect to each of those photos, and we're going to put them in a presentation. Just as like a little review of GIMP. And the background is supposed to be a little review of GIMP as well. Okay? So in the background, I want you to use gradients. I want you to use selection tools. I want you to use filters or the path tool. Don't worry about like I have to use all of them. I just want you to kind of get back into GIMP with this deal. And I'm going to make a really basic simple one. If you want to make something more complicated, that's fine. That's up to you. Okay? But I do need to go over with creating the presentation background. I need to go over the dimensions for you so you know how to set it up the right way. I want to show you gradients. I want to do a simple drawing tool and maybe a simple filter effect. Okay, so I want to pop open GIMP. I made this one yesterday at the end of class while we were sort of going on, and all it is a couple of gradients. I need to pull this over here. So it's the browns that you see in the background are just this browns filter or browns gradient pulled vertically and then pulled horizontally to get the crisscross effect. And then what I did was I used the ellipse tool on this layer, and I made an ellipse and I cut it and I made a new layer and I pasted in a new layer to get a separate, sort of ellipse shape. Okay, that's why you see this transparency here in the middle here. Then what I did was I went to a filter effect, and I went to artistic, and I think maybe glass tile, and just make glass tiles, and that's sort of what gave this effect right here. Okay, where you've got the squares. All right. The next thing I did was I dropped a shadow on layer 3 right here, and then I blurred it out. I just blurred it out so that you have this sort of drop shadow effect right here. How do we feel about that so far? Do people feel like, yeah, I remember this stuff? Yeah, I could probably do something simple like this. The last thing I did was I took a gradient. I dropped it over the whole thing, and it was this horizon gradient. And I changed the mode to overlay. You guys can't see. If you can't see, let me know, okay? So I gotta zoom out. That's probably a little bit better. Alright? I'm sorry. Alright, so you can see the layers here now. Alright? If you can't see what I'm doing, please remind me. Alright? Who's gonna do that? Emily? You were always my reminder when you were in 1st hour last year. Alright, so let me know. If I'm talking about stuff that you can't see, let me know. Alright, so let's make a really basic one. So we're going to go to Google. We're going to do an image search for presentation backgrounds. And this one's really easy right here. Okay, we just have a couple of shapes, geometric shapes, that we could put in with the path tool pretty easily. We could put a gradient in here, sort of like this one, and just real simple. That's where I want to go with this. Okay, so let's go to GIMP. Let's make a new document. And your settings for this. Your settings need to be width 800 and height 600 for your orientation. Okay, on the ratio. We're going to say OK. 800 wide, 600 high. Okay, so we are in landscape orientation. Okay, you're probably going to start off with a white background like that. All right. So let's review. For those of us who haven't been in here for a year or two, and I should have everybody this way. Let's review making new layers and putting in a gradient real quick. So we're going to put in a new layer. And on this layer we're going to put just this dark blue to light blue gradient. So we're going to take the gradients tool, the blend tool, and we're going to make it be foreground to background. We're going to click on the top layer and just, I'm going to constrain it by holding Control so it goes straight, just like that. This model that we looked at was really simple, just an arc with a rectangle, a couple more rectangles. So something like this is pretty easy with a couple of layers. So we'll go back here. We'll add a layer, and we'll start. This is arc 1, arch 1. Okay, and we're going to use path tool, and I'm going to make maybe how do I close a path? What do I have to hold? Control on the first one. So now the path is closed, and I can move these guys like this. I can make that arc like this. And now I want to paint on the arc. So I want to make a selection. I want to get, what color should I make it? I'll just use a dark blue. And I'll get on the arch layer, and I can drag. I probably have to use my fill bucket because I'm in a screen capture like that. Okay. I could do a similar effect down here, maybe do lights. I could add layers and kind of mix and match. If I go back here, you see this sort of light layer underneath. I could add a layer underneath, right there. I could make a rectangle tool. And on this layer I could put my light color. Boom. Boom. Like that. Okay? Select none. So this is really simple. Okay? But I don't want it too complicated. You can make it more complicated if you want. But I just wanted the demo to be really simple. Okay? So I want you to make a couple of these. Find ones that you think you can do. Make a couple of them, and we're going to use them in our next project. Questions?